Hey guys, I'm Cubeoid, and welcome to episode 8 of my ChromatiCraft tutorial series. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about some of the plants you can craft. Never mind that. So things like the heat lily and the enrichment vine and that stuff. So I'm going to show you these plants. You can see I got them set up over there. This video might be a bit longer than the other ones because I have to move the recipes from there into this because I can't craft them or show them in there. Well, I can, but I want to show you crafting them because it requires placing the runes down. So yeah, let's just get into the video. So I did move the runes over from this side to that side. I showed how to make the casting room in the last episode, so you watching that might be useful. But yeah, so this is the heat lily. It is crafted using 2 lily pads, 1 of the orange crystal shards, 1 blaze powder, and then 3 of any type of flower. And it looks like this. Standing on it will burn you. It is placed on water, and what it does is it pretty much acts like a torch, and it melts ice and snow. And you can use that to keep the water in sugarcane farms and stuff like that from freezing up. And I will show you this, so you can pause the video and read this. But you can see this is how it's crafted, and it requires 2 runes, and they need to be placed down 1 block. So let's grab that. And remember, when placing runes in your casting room, always make sure you're orientated facing north. So it should be 1 here and 1 here. Correct? Yeah. And you can see we now have the heat lily. You can see normally it won't work, but if we add the runes in the proper position, then we can craft 3 of them. So might as well just craft that. There you go, and you can see a nice little effect. I just placed these glows around. They're not required, but I placed them around so there's some light in here when it gets dark. But yeah, so that's the heat lily. Okay, on to the next thing. I could show what they do, but it's kind of pretty obvious. They melt snow and ice, and yeah. So this one is a bit more special. This is the Reversion lotus. It's crafted using 2 ferns, 1 of the light green crystal shards, 1 redstone, and then 3 of any flower. Okay, and of course it's going to need some runes, but we can go put these in after. There. So what runes does it need? Before I show the runes, I am going to... So you can pause the video and read this. And here we go. So you can see it requires 1 of the green runes and 1 of the magenta ones. Nothing more. And they need to be placed 1 down. So what is this? Up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over 1, 2. Okay, 5 up over 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over 2, 1, 2. So it should be placed here, and then this should be placed here. Wait. Yes, I think that's right. And then let's see if it worked. No, didn't. Not the heat lily. The Reversion lotus. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then over 1, 2. 1, 2, yeah. I have it incorrectly. Do I have the recipe wrong? Okay, I might have I think I have the runes right, so let's see if the recipe is incorrect. So, should be right. Oh. Boy, I've done an oopsie. There we go. My mistake. So not light green, you want the dark green crystal shard. while I'm at it, I'm actually going to fix this. There we go. Much better. Now you can see it's working just fine. And of course that gives you 6 of them. Now I am actually going to go out and show what these do. So just a short flight away in kind of the northeast direction, past this pylon here, there should be, I hate how slow you fly in vanilla, but should be just right around here. Yeah, there it is. So what these things do is pretty much the corrupted areas of the world from like certain aura nodes. So ChromatiCraft corruption, pretty much it does the same thing as the ChromatiCraft flowers do, but they do it at a quicker rate. So you can see there it is, going pretty quickly. And you get 6 of these, so you can just place 6 around like that, and so you can keep this thing for later, and these things will keep the corruption from spreading. I do believe they also revert magical forests, so I do have one way to show that. I think it's in the Ender Forest if I remember correctly. There's this, so we have this silverwood tree here, and you can see it's spreading this magical forest biome. And if you don't want that, I believe these things will revert. Yep, you can see the reversion lotuses are reverting the transformed biome to its original state. So yeah, you can see them kind of working here. Yeah, there it is. So they do that. Okay, let's head back. So that's the reversion lotus. Okay, on to the next thing. So this next thing is kind of special. This is called the Coalescence Orchid, and it is crafted using 1 glowstone, 1 glass, 2 dandelions, 2 oak leaves, and 1 of the cyan crystal shards. And it's placed on the bottom of blocks. I believe it can be placed on pretty much any block, and it does something special, and I will show that. But first, I need to grab a book. There we go. I'm not missing anything. Okay. Okay, so where is it? So you can pause the video and read this if you feel like it, but go over here. So you can see it requires a bit more runes. It requires a brown one, an orange one, and the cyan one. So let's go grab those. So brown, cyan, and orange. And let's start placing these down. So eventually you'll get to the point in your casting room where the whole thing will just be full of the runes. They'll be absolutely everywhere, but some of them overlap, but usually they're the same color. I think they all are different colors. You know what, never mind. Okay, so this orange one is up 3 and over, what, 4? And this is what? So -1, so up 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, so right here. The brown one is up 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so I think right here. And then the last and final one, the cyan one, is pretty much opposite of the orange one, so it should be down here. Now let's see if we have this correctly, and we can start putting in the items. There you go, see? And you get 1. You only get 1 per craft. You can see, there it is. The Coalescence Orchid. Sounds like we spawned ball lightning. Ah, there. And using the casting table can sometimes spawn ball lightnings. But, yep. So I'm gonna grab myself another book, and Yeah, so if you had paused the video and read what the book said about the Coalescence Orchid, you may have noticed that it said something about combining liquids. Now, that's exactly what it does. I'm missing something in there. Where is it? Here it is. Missing that and that. There we go. Okay, so pretty much what it does, if you have lava and water, it will suck them up and make some cobblestone. Sometimes it takes longer to use up the water, sometimes less, but it makes a decent amount of cobblestone. But if you have something, let's get rid of this lava. If you have something like a DragonAPI reservoir, and fill it full of water, this one's just infinite, because why not? And put it. It'll take much longer to use up the water in the reservoir because there's 64 buckets in there, and you can just make a lot of, well, cobblestone. Just get rid of these. But there are some extra things you can do with it. So if you have, what was it again? It was lava and liquid chroma. It uses up the lava and it makes crystalline stone. So of course you could have lava inside here and just make yourself a bunch of stuff. So it does also, oh no. Oops. Okay. But you can see, with using reservoirs, you can get much more of anything and everything. But there's one more special thing it can do, is with Ethereal Luma, which you can find. I showed where to get it in the first episode in the series, but if combined with lava, it will make cliffstone. So that's cool. And there's more different not really recipes, but I think there's more combination with a bunch of different liquids that I just don't know about. I did kind of try to kind of play with it for a little while, but I think there's some way to make ice with it, but I don't actually know. I'm just going to fill this back out. Actually, you know what? I can do that when I'm done. Okay, on to the next thing. This is the Enrichment Vine, and it doesn't do anything by itself, but it's special in its own way. But it's crafted using 4 oak leaves, 2 of the, I think that's light blue crystal shards, 2 dandelions, or 2 of any flower, and then 1 redstone. Okay, and if we come over here, you can see it's crafted like that. But first, you can pause the video and read that. And here, so the runes it requires is 1 of the light blue and the green. So let's save that. So let's get it. So green and the light blue. Okay, so let's place them down. So this one's what? Up 4 over 2. So 1, 2, wait, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, so here. And you notice none of the runes overlap with each other, except ones of same color. So you'll probably see that at some point where a recipe calls for a rune that you've already placed down for another recipe, but yep. Then the other one's pretty much the same thing, but on the opposite side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2. There. So at this point, we should now be able to put the recipe in. For a second, I thought I was going to be I was going to be able to just use the scroll wheel, but unfortunately not. There we go, and we can craft 2 enrichment vines. There we go. And you get 2 of them. So I will show you what the enrichment vine does. It's kind of hard to explain on its own, but it pretty much it speeds up stuff planted on top or below it. so I need to actually grab one. So I may be doing this completely wrong, but you can see how the textures kind of line up for the different flowers, and this thing should now be able to. What's the slowest one? It was the Ethyluma and the lava. So just place this down. Oh. So you can see I have no idea if it's going faster or not. So let's see. It might be going faster, or it might not. So it probably has, it either makes it so with the Coalescence Orchid, it has two possibilities it can do. It could possibly increase the speed in which it works, or it could reduces the amount of liquid it uses. Perhaps both, but I don't know. But it's especially useful for something like the Fertility bloom. So I'm gonna show you how to. Okay, so the Fertility bloom. It's not that hard to craft. It's pretty cheap actually. 1 light blue shards, 2 leaves, dandelions, and then some redstone. Now I will show you the entry for it. So you can pause the video and read this entry and how to craft. So the runes it takes, we might already have there. So you can see the runes we need to craft this are already in place for us because they were needed for another recipe, so that's nice. And that's not a coincidence, that was probably done on purpose. But yeah, so when so something about it, so I've already said this, but again, the runes for different recipes will never overlap except for ones of the same. So you can see the recipe requires these two, but these two are used by another recipe. But the recipe will never call for, like, let's say a green rune to be put in place of the orange one, as far as I know. But so the Fertility bloom, you only get one, but they are pretty cheap, so you could probably craft a few of them. I need to grab some stuff. There we go. And break these. I probably shouldn't have planted this in the first place, but the Fertility bloom does a couple things. The first one is that it hydrates the soil around it. So you can see here, it's hydrating the soil around it. And yeah, but another thing it does in the kind of 4 cardinal directions, it speeds up the growth of plants. Now, this can be seen. You can see that's growing pretty fast, but of course, this can be sped up using something like an Enrichment Vine. So, why is that doing that now? It wasn't before, but okay. See, there, an Enrichment Vine, and you can see it's now speeding up their growth a bit faster. Now, the thing about the Enrichment Vine is I believe they can be stacked, so if we just dig down a little bit and put a bunch of Enrichment Vine, this may or may not work, but it might be working to an extent. So the effect of the Enrichment Vine, I think it stacks to an extent, but yep. But so this is a tile accelerator. It's very late game, but you can see this makes it very apparent to which wheat or plants it speeds up. But yeah, so just a warning, it does not hydrate a lot of blocks, only a couple. So yep, just be careful of that. then on to the last plant. So this plant is called the Scissor weed. Now I have some confusion over not what it does, but the crafting recipe, because it requires things that aren't from ChromatiCraft. It requires the munch dew and the redstone root, and as far as I know, these are the ones it needs. So I'm just going to fill out the crafting thing in my inventory so I can bring it over to the table. Not really the table, but the casting room. Now hopefully this one works without any confusion. Okay, so I'm going to open up the book and show the entry for it. So the scissor weed. So you can pause the video and read this, but yeah. How to craft. So you can see the crafting recipe literally calls for 1 redstone root and 1 munch dew. So I guess you might have to get into some Botania to use this, but it kind of makes sense because this flower is kind of directed toward being used to harvest Botania flowers. But yep, and the runes it requires. So it requires a yellow and a green one. I don't think we have those. We don't. So let's grab them. Oop, I don't need that. Go back here. Save. So to the right and at Y is level 0. Okay, so because you can see it says Y level 0, it does not want them placed into the ground. It wants them 1 block up. So you can see it wants them here and here. And now we can put in this. There you go, 1 scissor weed. So let's craft it. There we go. So yeah, I kind of didn't expect it to have to use Botania flowers, but apparently not. And you can see this area I have here has marked out the range of it. I should grab some Botania flowers. Where's the nearest one? I see some white ones over there. Actually, you know what? There's a gray one right here. This works. So what this does is, you know, I can use some vanilla flowers for it too, is in a certain area around it breaks flowers. Or at least it should. Actually, yeah, there it goes. But you can see for the poppies, it's not breaking them. So if you remember in the book, it said something about I believe it breaks it will always, in the area around it, it will always break the Botania flowers, but you can see it checks the flowers adjacent to it to know what to break. So these kind of 4 blocks around it, it won't break the flower in it, but it will use the flowers right beside it to use as a reference to break these ones. So you can see by placing this poppy around it, we will tell it to start breaking those, and you can see it starts going. This can be massively accelerated with the tile accelerator for demonstration purposes, or at least it should. Come on, we were doing it earlier. Apparently not, but apparently not for the poppies. But you can see for the Botania flowers, it makes a very large impact. But yeah. So that's the scissor weed, and you can see this is its working area. So you can see it does not break right beside it, but 4 blocks out from it does, and these corners. But you can see it doesn't do here. So I do have the proper range. But yeah, so that's the scissor weed, and standing on it gives you hunger too. So just don't stand on it if you want to keep your hunger bars. But yep, so I'm going to end the video here. So if you liked the video, and if you like the video, and if you want to see more mod tutorials like this and be notified when I post a continuation to one of my mod tutorial series, then subscribe, and thank you for watching.